So hello everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. This is Ramya. I'm a product analyst at Vembu Technologies. Today, I will be the organizer for this webinar. Before getting started, I would like to inform regarding the ground rules of the session. So all the attendees will be in a listen-only mode. However, you have a question box. If you have any queries in between, you can post your questions, which our team will answer. If time permits, we shall also have a Q&A session at the end. So in this webinar, we'll be going through a 30 or 35 minutes walkthrough with a small presentation and a quick live demonstration. So let's begin. Our topic for today's day is what's new in Vembu Backup for AWS version 5.0. And the agenda goes like we're going to discuss about the new features and the enhancements coming in version 5.0. And I'm going to also let you know like how to avail this version 5.0 beta. This version 5.0 is right now in the beta. So I'll also be giving you steps to make you test the product and followed by a live demonstration and a quick Q&A session. Yes. So in today's world, the importance of backing up business resource can hardly be overstated. Whether you are running your environment in an on-premise data center or in the public clouds like AWS, the need to protect your data is a universal concern, isn't it? Yes. So who is responsible for AWS data protection? Is it AWS that takes care of everything? We all know that AWS helps companies with advanced productivity tools for business. But what about data protection for AWS? Did you know that keeping AWS data safe and compliant is your responsibility? If not, we will check out to the next type. Shared responsibility model. When you purchase a license for AWS, the last thing on your mind is data backups and disaster recovery, isn't it? This is because most people assume that AWS is responsible for backing up everything. This could stem from the belief that everything in the cloud is backed up. To those users who think AWS is fully responsible for taking care of cloud data, here comes the concept of AWS shared responsibility model. By the very nature of the phrase AWS shared responsibility model, we can see that security implementation on the AWS cloud is not the sole responsibility of any one player, but it is shared between AWS and you. The AWS shared responsibility model dictates which security controls are AWS responsibility and which are yours. In short, you decide how you want your resources to sit in the cloud while AWS guarantees the global security of the cloud. In my experience, a solid understanding of AWS shared responsibility model makes it easier to build and maintain a highly secure and reliable environment. Without knowing where I need to step in and take control of data security, I was never able to properly define just how secure my environment really was. So AWS treats security as a major priority, and so should you too. Security is AWS' #1 priority in every sense. It's an area into which AWS pours huge capital and energy and devotes near constant attention. So there's a reason for this. After speaking with my business contacts in various sectors, it seems that security is still one of the main reasons organizations are reluctant to adopt the cloud presence. Overcoming these hesitations require AWS to be a very top of security excellence and governance. So having served over millions of customers in the past month alone, AWS most stringent security standards are already being used for audit purposes by many organizations. So facing so many requirements, AWS is certified and compliant across a huge range of security standards, including PSI DSS, ISO, and SOC. AWS servers are deployed and distributed in exactly the same way throughout their entire global infrastructure. This means a single user accessing a simple S3 bucket or a document backups is covered in the same strict security standard as the largest and the most demanding organizations. Okay, so coming to the security models, like responsibility models, to help provide a clear definition and boundaries of responsibility, AWS has devised three main models: shared responsibility model for infrastructure and service, shared responsibility model for container services, shared responsibility model for abstract services. By taking a look at these models, we'll be able to clearly see the difference. So, when we talk about infrastructure services first, as we said, AWS is responsible for what is known as security of the cloud. This covers their global infrastructure elements, including regions, availability zones, and edge locations, and the foundation of their compute, storage, database, and network services. AWS owns and controls access to their data center where your customer data resides. This covers physical access to all hardware and networking components and any additional data center facilities. So, including generators, UPS, power supplies, power distribution units, computer rooms, like air conditioning, and many more. So some of the security compliance controls mentioned previously are based upon the physical access entry and control. So essentially, AWS is responsible for the components that make up the cloud, and data put into the cloud that becomes your responsibility. With the basic cloud infrastructure secured and maintained by AWS, the responsibility for what goes into the cloud falls on you. This covers both client and the server-side encryption and the network traffic protection. So security of the operation system, network, firewall configuration, followed by application security and identity and access management. So how much of this additional security you wish to implement is entirely your decision. So what you choose may depend on the nature of your business or on existing control that you may already have in place. I recommend tightening security as much as possible to minimize exposure to external threats that could compromise your environment. The important point to remember is that while AWS provides many powerful security controls, how and when to apply them is not AWS responsibility. Okay? So, shared responsibility model for container services. So straight away, we can see that both platform and application management, along with any operating system or systems and network configuration, has shifted being a responsibility of AWS and is no longer down to us as the customer to manage. This is a huge difference from the infrastructure-based service. However, not all responsibility has shifted. You should note that firewall configuration remains the responsibility of the end user, which integrates at the platform and application management level too. So for example, RDS utilize security groups which you could be responsible for configuring and implementing. Finally, shared responsibility model for abstract service. So when I say abstract service, so I could say it is like S3 or Glacier, something like that. So you will notice that even more responsibility has been shifted to AWS, specifically network traffic protection, which allows AWS will manage via the platform protecting all data in transit using AWS own network. You are responsible for using IAM rules to apply for all the correct permissions, both at the platform and IAM user group level. So when you create your AWS account, you will have an AWS administrator account and credentials that will allow you to create other users, groups, and roles within the identity and access management IAM service. So right from get-go, you are in control of who can access your service, and it's up to you to manage this access properly. IAM is a very powerful tool that you can use to create a very specific set of access permissions and private security keys for the resource you deploy also come under this. So within IAM, you can also implement multi-factor authentication, something I strongly recommend for all of the administrator account that you create, and especially the admin concept too. So the bottom line when it comes to AWS is that it's your data, you own it, you control it, and you are responsible for managing all the data and archives within AWS. So how Vembu helps? We all know that backups are foundational elements of any disaster recovery plan, isn't it? So from malicious moves or by a computer, like a competitor, to a human-caused mistakes and natural disasters, there are numerous risks to your data out there, and you need to protect yourself from all of them. And these days, this is becoming increasingly hard to do. So AWS has its own backup data, like a backup also, but the AWS service is still in its beginning stage and has quite a few limitations, particularly for enterprises who are looking for a more comprehensive management solution. So for example, at the time of publication, there is no support for Amazon EC2. You can only use it on a single account. Scheduling is restricted, and there is no straightforward recovery process. So another major issue is that auditing and reporting is not supported, which makes it challenging for organizations with compliance requirements. So you need a third-party backup tool to meet your backup requirement. Vembu is one such organization. So to begin with, Vembu technology. So we are a fast-growing backup software company. We have more than a decade and a half years of experience in this data protection market. Our customer base is spread across 100 plus countries, and so far we have reached 60,000 plus listeners across the globe. Yes, these are our customers. So Vembu is honored to serve some of the finest companies in the world. Among our customer base, you will find recognizable worldwide firms as well as reputable local companies too. These are our technology partners. So Vembu creates strong partnership with industry-leading technology vendors to provide high availability to the data centers with diverse requirements. Our technology partners include data center players like VMware, NetApp, HP, Red Hat, and public cloud providers like AWS and Microsoft. So, Vembu is a leading player in the backup and disaster recovery market for small and medium business. Our flagship offering, Vembu BDRSuite, is a comprehensive backup and disaster recovery solution designed to protect the data across diverse IT environments that include virtual loads like VMware Hyper-V, physical machines like Windows, Linux, Mac, cloud workloads like AWS, Azure, and SaaS applications like Microsoft 365 and Google Workspace. Our solutions are extremely affordable and are ideal for business of any size with a tight budget. So coming to Vembu Backup for AWS. So Vembu BDRSuite performs agentless AWS EC2 backup and restores by leveraging Amazon's APIs to manage snapshots. By launching a Vembu VDR backup server instance in your AWS account using a Vembu CloudFormation template, or just by installing Vembu VDR in one of your on-premise machine or a machine runs in an instance, you can schedule backups of an instance running in the same account or in any other AWS account. So all the snapshots of the target instance will be stored in the same account from which they are backed up. When the need arises to restore an instance or a volume instance from a particular restore point, you can recover and launch the required instance in the same account instantly. Great, isn't it? So these are the few of our key features available in Vembu Backup for AWS. So agentless cloud native backup. So Vembu BDRSuite uses AWS APIs to back up your EC2 instances. This eliminates the need of an agent to be installed in the target instance to perform backup. With agentless backup, you can back up your EC2 instance running on any region in any AWS account. So automatic backup scheduling. Experience our near continuous data protection of an instance by scheduling backups on a minute or hourly basis or daily or weekly basis too. So also you can read and up to 10 snapshots for every backup job by using the recovery options. Then application of processing. So you can get the application consistent backup for our Microsoft applications like MS Exchange Server and MS SQL. Vembu Backup for AWS ensures that the backup takes place only when the application writers are stable and transaction consistent snapshot is guaranteed. Pre and post scripts. So we can run the custom scripts in the form of batch files automatically before and after every backup job to prepare the application into backup model before the backup starts, and then revert after the backup completes. And we also support instant level recovery as well as volume level recovery. So you can also recover the instance from the required restore point by registering your AMI image that you can either deregister after recovery or leave it registered to create future resources. So we can also recover only the required volumes by attaching them to a target instance by configuring the capacity, volume type, and attached behavior. Yes. So now let's move on to the live demonstration. So before that, I will let you know our website ID is www.vembu.com, and you will be able to find the download tab. And in the download tab, you can see our version 5.0 beta. So you can download straight from the website, and once you download, until we have a production release, you can use it for testing. So this is a beta. So we recommend you to test in a test environment. So we are planning to have a production release at the end of this month or probably before the mid of August. So you can have a complete look at this, and we also having a user guides and themes in the resources section. So once you download, you can also have a look at it. So once you download, you will be also getting 30 days free trial to evaluate the product. And during evaluation, if you have any queries, you can contact the Vembu support anytime, and our support team will be happy to help you. Great. So to access the machine, you can just click on IP address of the machine followed by 6060 port number to open a web-based console. So once you give the IP address of the machine followed by 6060 port number, you will see a login screen like this. The default username and password of the machine is admin. You can customize this while installing the product. So once you logged in, you can see that from the same console, you will be able to back up your virtual machines running on VMware, Hyper-V, your physical Windows machines, your AWS EC2 instances. You can also back up your Microsoft 365 as well as Google Workspace, and you can also configure files and application backups too. So for us now, we are going for AWS tab. And first, we'll be configuring the BDR infrastructure. So in case if you want the reports to get mailed to you, I recommend you to just go and configure the SMTP settings, so that all the email reports, reports will be emailed to your email ID specified. And if you want to configure the web proxy, you can also press it. So once the BDR infrastructure is done, then you have to go for the BDR data resources. So in the data resources, you need to add the AWS accounts. So here you will see add AWS account, and you need to give a name of organization, and you have to choose whether I am user or not, and you have to follow the steps here. So we have certain steps which when you follow, you will be getting the access ID and secret key. This steps to be followed because you need to give required permission for Vembu software to access your AWS account to back up all the EC2 instances. Okay, so we have method 1, which is running on a JSON, and also a manual steps with the method 2. So whichever best suits you, you can go for it. And if you have any queries in adding your account or you have any difficulties, you can anytime contact the Vembu support, and we are here to help you. So once the account is added, then you can click on backup, configure backup, and here you have to choose your account here. So here there is when you add an account, there is no restriction. You can add any number of accounts, and you can manage all those accounts from a single console. So here if you had, in this case I have had only one account here, so it's listing only one. If you have added multiple, all the accounts will be listed here. So you can choose your account from here, and you also need to choose a region from where your instances need to be backed up. So I'm going to choose Asia Pacific SIDME as of now, and click on list instances. So this is going to take a minute, and we also have a filter, like whether you want to just display whether the Windows machine or Linux machine, or like protected or unprotected machines, or you can also customize your selection using a filter. So once you're done, you see that the complete like instances in my region have been listed here. So I can completely choose all the machines from here, or I can choose any particular machine I want to. Okay. Then in case if I want to go for application of a processing, then I have to follow the prerequisites here. And once done, I can able to enable this. I can also use any pre or post scripts also, and you can just click on the prerequisites needed and check whether it's working for you. So once the virtual instances are selected, and all the pre-required application hour processing or pre or post scripts are selected, then you can click on configure backup. So you need to give backup a name, and you can choose the scheduling policy. So we have a scheduling policy from 1 hour, like even 1 minute, like from 15 minutes. Our RPO is 15 minutes. So you can choose either from like a minute, like 15 minutes, or run hourly schedule, or run daily in a selective time, or run weekly in a selective time, or a selective day schedule. So whichever best suits you, you can choose your customize your scheduling accordingly. And you can also select the number of retention copies you want to retain, the snapshots. So like up to 10 snapshots you can maintain. So whichever best suits you can go for it. By default, it will be 5. You can change it to 1 or 10 according to your preference. And in the advanced setting, we also have a retry attempts for the backup failure, like how many times the backup server need to retry for the backup, and also the time it has to wait for each and every attempt. So once you're all done, click on save backup and run off in case if you want to run immediately, or save backup just to make sure that it is running on the scheduled time. Okay. So once you schedule it, you'll be able to see a backup job. So this is our backup job, and you can also see the progress, like how many instances and what are the kind of thing is in backup and how many time taken it's going to take. So this backup will be very instant, and within a minute or two, your backup will be completed. Okay. So we also have some backup which is already pre-configured, and there is no restrictions for any backup job. You can configure any number of backup jobs. So once the backup job is configured, you can go for recovery, and you can also recover data from. So click on restore, and here we have two different types of recovery. One is instant recovery, and other is volume recovery. So first you want to click on the restore point and choose which restore point you need to recover. And you can just select either you want to go for a complete instance or volume. So when you go for the instance, you can choose like which instance you need to backup. I mean, you need to restore from. And then a snapshot. So post that, there is an option that you can either deregister the AMI after recovery or leave the AMI registered after recovery. You can choose whether to register or to leave. Based on your preference, you can go for it. Then you can also have a Windows keypad selections. But if you have multiple, you will be having options here. And you can also choose how many number of instances you need to launch from the same snapshot like AMI. So in case if you want to have 3 machines of same configuration, you can go for 3, and you can click on restore to restore all your data, or else you can go for volume based recovery. So in volume based recovery, you can also choose the instances you wish to recover, and here also you can choose the behavior. So either to attach the restored volume only if the device is free, or replace the existing volume with the restored volume and retain the existing volume, and replace the existing volume with the restored volume and delete the existing volume. So we have 3 different types, and based on your requirement, you can customize this. And once you select the original volume to be detected, then you can recover your volume. And when you go to recovery reports, we also have a complete backup job level report. So this report gives you a complete status, like when is the time, like starting time, end time, and the total number of time taken, the instance name which modified, like what are the volumes the instances have, and whether the status is success or not. Everything will be shown to you in the backup report. Similarly, we also have a data recovery report, which has, if you go performing instant level recovery, you can see the instance recovery. And if you're performing a volume-based recovery, you can see the volume-based recovery reports. And when you click on logs, you see like how many seconds it takes and how is the recovery success or not. Everything we will be able to notice here. So as I said before, if you configure SMTP settings, these reports can also be emailed to you. And when you talk about management, so you can able to, when you have to have a license check or BDI users or editions, you'll be able to modify this. And yes, here I'm just completing my demonstration. And we see that we received many questions and answers, and our team will keep on replying to you. In case you are not able to reply in the session, you will be receiving an email soon from us. And thank you. Thanks for joining us today. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.